Happy, gosh, Monday after Christmas. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Oh, you know what? Okay, bear with me for 1 second. There, that's a little better. My camera was a little bit dirty there, so it looked like we had a, well, it looked like I had a filter in front of me, which is not so bad when I'm talking. Definitely not good though when we're working, because then it looks like there's a filter over everything that we're playing with, and we don't want that. So welcome everybody. For those of you that are new, and we always have new people that come in, and I just love that. Welcome. This is the first Plan With Me Live, or I don't know, our setup of the Winter Traveler's Notebook Kit. So you've all purchased the Winter Traveler's Notebook Kit, and it's a good thing you did, and you didn't wait, because as of today, there's either one left or they're gone. So you got one. Good. You will love it. Like I said, if you are new and you're kind of just starting to use the Traveler's Notebook, or you are just starting with the bi-monthly kits, I think they're a lot of fun, because they give you just the amount of product that you need to decorate and then redecorate your Traveler's Notebook for the month. There is a lot of stuff that we will go through tonight. Basically, what I will be doing, I've already obviously set one up, because this is what you saw probably when you purchased the kit, but I will be setting up, oh, I'm going to have to run and grab something, because I have everything I need in front of me, with the exception I need another one of these, or I don't have anything to build, to put my Traveler's Notebook, all the things in. So, but we will be working together, and I will be setting up my Traveler's Notebook right along with you guys. So lots of chat this time. I love that. If you have not been participating on the free Saturday sessions I do, I highly encourage you to join us for those. Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. And they're always about Traveler's Notebooks, and we've been doing a lot of creative listing in our Traveler's Notebook. So if you don't know about those, probably the easiest place to go is to my website, and then just click on blog, and you'll start seeing information about those. But I'm seeing, as I'm talking, all kinds of comments, so I just love that. I gotta have to so Diana, well, if she's asking if the live feed has started, then she's probably not seeing it start, but yes, we are. Hi Trisha. Looks like we have Mindy, and I just have to bend down here a second so I can see. Sheila, Diana, you have a very unusual spelling of your name, don't you? Assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sharon and Kim. Hi Kim, Noemi, Cherie, Laura. Okay, so lots of folks. Those of you that are watching live, I am. Oh, hi Kelly. Welcome, welcome. I know, Kim, doesn't it remind you of Romper Room? Actually, the Romper Room lady was from Utah. I just happen to know that. I don't know if Romper Room was filmed in Utah, but maybe. Anyhow, there is a live chat that takes place when you are watching live. So if you are on a handheld device, so whether you're on a phone or maybe an iPad or something like that, a tablet, if your screen is set to full size, you won't see the chat. So you just have to, I don't even know what it is. It's just some of you told me that. So if you're not seeing the chat, you want to be able to read the chat or participate in the chat, just don't minimize, but reduce the size of the window, whatever it is. Anyhow, so every once in a while you will see me reply to a question or a comment, or in that case, as I was greeting many of you, like Melissa. There we go, Melissa. Thank you. Melissa said you want to be in the default view. The other thing that I want to mention, and I always include this at the beginning of the video and the description of the video. So there are lots of links in the description of the video. The very first piece of information tells you that if at any time it starts looking blurry, generally that is your internet connection. There is a little gear that is in the lower right-hand corner of your kind of YouTube video screen, if you will. So there's a little gear. If you get blurry, just click on that gear and change the quality. Sometimes YouTube will think it knows best for you, and it will set a quality. And if your internet connection is, maybe someone at home is streaming or there's a storm or something, it doesn't play well with that quality. So just click on the little gear and change the quality, and that will fix it for you. So for those of you that are watching the replay, we always have lots of people that watch replay because, everyone has lives. Well, most of us have lives. Some of us, not so much anymore, right? COVID. So I always try to do our sessions at night, these sessions at night. So assuming that some people work and it's just easier to do things at night, but then sometimes you have family and things like that. So if you are watching the replay, welcome to you as well. And really, for all intents and purposes, if I didn't tell you that we weren't live and you didn't know that we weren't live, you would just think we were live because it kind of feels like we are. So if you're watching on the replay, welcome. It's a 3-hour time difference. Joanne, there you go. So, and that's the thing that's hard too. We also have some folks that are international. And then that, as much as I would like to try to make accommodations for all of the time zones, when we get to international, it just makes it a little bit harder. So I try to do 5:30 Pacific, knowing that if folks on the West Coast are working, that may give them just a little bit amount of time if they want to catch it live. And then East Coast, maybe you've had dinner, and if you have kids, put the kids to bed or popped them in front of a movie or whatever it is. Okay, so before we get started, what I need to do is grab my traveler's notebook, so I have something to work in. So bear with me for 1 second, and then we'll get going. So you guys chat it up if you want in the chat, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had it out of the box and all ready to go. I just forgot to bring it upstairs. So, and now I'll be out of breath for a second after running up the stairs. Hang on. Trisha. So, Trisha just asked, if there's anyone that's just now doing a traveler's notebook for the first time. And if it is, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for you because traveler's notebooks, I love them. I love them. I've been using them probably for about 5 years. Actually, I think April will be about 6 years. So I think the best thing about them is that they work for so many different things and for so many different people to actually use it. Yes, Mindy, that's good. Like a lot of us, sometimes we acquire different crafting supplies and sometimes we use them. So, oh good, Laura's new too. I love that, you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do right now, ooh, Cherie, you make your own junk tans. That's fun. Now I'm all caught up in the comments. Okay, and Noemi just said that's all she uses, so love that. Okay, friends, so what's going to happen here? I am going to flip the camera. And as I flip the camera, I always like to joke, when you go to Disneyland, they tell you to keep your hands and legs, arms and legs inside the ride at all times. And to make sure your seatbelt's fastened. Because when I flip the camera, we go for a little spin. So bear with me for a sec while we go for a spin. I'll make it quick. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then it's always skimwampus, so it takes a second to kind of get that sorted. We'll turn some studio lights on. Oh yeah, I'm all discombobulated here. I was participating in a Zoom craft session yesterday. Why is that so weird? With a Zoom oh, I know. Okay, there we go. Just bear with me. I was participating in a Zoom craft session yesterday with some ladies that have taken some classes from me in the past and a couple of Sundays ago, and it's something that they do every Sunday, I guess. But, well, at least every Sunday since COVID, they all get together for like 4 or 5 hours on Zoom and craft, and people are doing different things and working on different projects, and they invited me. And I said, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I joined them. All right. Now, I joined them and I was using my stand and everything here to do the Zoom. So this is all, I didn't realize I had moved things around that much. So it was a little bit discombobulated, but I think we're good. All right, let's do one last thing. I'm gonna try that and turn off those lights. And I think that is where we want to be as we get started. Oh, sounds like someone's ringing our doorbell. Okay, I need to double check and make sure that we don't have any comments or questions before I get going. Lots of talk about different stores. Absolutely, if you can find a local scrapbook store, absolutely support them. That is so important. All right, so what I do generally when we get started, I am going to move out of, hang on a sec, Kim, it's a place Little's done some work, but I can't remember the name. What state are we talking about? Wisconsin? I'll wait for you to tell me. Okay, anyhow, I usually move out of my existing Traveler's Notebook. So this is the Traveler's Notebook that I've been using for the month of December. Wisconsin. Yes, so I haven't done any in-person teaching in Wisconsin. There is an event that I'll be teaching at next year called She Loves Color. There is a store associated with that, but I can't remember the name of it offhand, and I'm actually not sure if they're a brick and mortar store anymore. I'm not much help there, sorry. Sometimes I'll get sidetracked, which reminds me I need to bring in our little friend the squirrel, because that's our little friend Scatter the squirrel. When sometimes I have a squirrel moment and I go off on a tangent. So I got a little sidetracked and our little squirrel had to join us there. So the first thing that I do is I move out of the Traveler's Notebook that I have been working in. So this is kind of what I've been working in for the month of December. And I say kind of because I actually started taking some things out of it. And I wanted to start with this because this is probably one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, once you're done for the month, so pretty much done for December, right? And I'm moving out of December and moving into January. What do I do with all of these things? Do I just throw them away? Do I just put them in a bag and stick them in the corner? Or what do I do with them? So a lot of times I like to work them into other projects. And I did that on Saturday in one of the free classes on YouTube. I did that with some of the little pieces. So I took a few of those stickers and I made a list. So one of the lists that we did on Saturday was things that made me laugh this Christmas. And really it was a kind of things that made me fill in the blank. So some people did things that made me happy. Some people said things that made me sad. One person did projects I did this Christmas. So, but for that, I pulled out 3 of the stickers that I had used to decorate my Traveler's Notebook for December. It was that little sticker right there and that little Santa, and then the candy cane. So as much as I can, I try to work these things into other projects. And then this little clip was one of my customers gave to me, mailed it to me for Christmas. I thought that was so sweet. It was so cute. Okay, what do I do with the second Traveler's Notebook that you set up? Trisha, so as we get going, generally we always slip cover, and we'll talk about that for those of you that are new, 2 different Traveler's Notebook inserts. So one, I am always creating my monthly calendar. It's very sad. My poor little calendar is very sad for the most of 2021, right? Because there's not a lot of things happening but I still use the leftover products to decorate my calendar. And that's what I'll do at the very end of our class today. With the second one, Tricia, sometimes I will use that to keep notes, plans for my business, different videos that I want to record, social media schedules. So I know some people will move their listing traveler's notebook. So if they are listing every Saturday with us, sometimes they will take this, and this is what happens. This is why I need a slipcover, because it gets worked on so much on the table, and the table, hold on. No, I mean, you have a display to show us to buy, and then you make a second one. What do you do with that? The second one. Do you mean this one? So these two inserts like this? I'm probably not, I'm sure I'm not understanding your question. This guy? Oh, I understand now. Duh, that just took me a minute. You have to remember that I have blonde hair. What do I do with this one, right? So this one is already set up. And then when I set this new one up, what do I do with it? Nothing. I basically just, I basically just unload it when I'm ready to work on a new one again. So really, I have two of I almost have two of every single traveler's notebook that I have, because I have one as the sample and then one that we create. That I totally took us down a tangent there. Now I get what you mean. Anyhow, so I was talking about how I move out of this one and then move into this one. So because I am using a completely different cover, I'm not right now going to take everything out. When I say move out, I'm basically just going to take my two inserts that I have slip covered. I will take those out, move this little guy to the side, and then I have these that I can slip cover. So I'll set those off to the side for a sec and move all of these things. In your kit, you always have one single traveler's notebook insert. And with that insert, it's assuming that you have either purchased a traveler's notebook, and the traveler's notebooks, the majority of them come with one insert, or that you have another insert that you're working with. So in a lot of cases, those of you that have been doing this with me for a while, you don't go through an entire insert in a month. So a lot of times we're just moving out of one of our traveler's notebooks and then moving into another one. Kim, where do you get all the cute hangy downy charms? That's a good question. So right here, there are two charms on here. This first charm, that little one, was part of the holiday traveler's notebook kit. So the kit before the one that we're working on. So everybody had one of 6 different little charms that was part of your kit. This one is one of my customers. Isn't that so fun? She made that for me, but look at that. It is, it plays on the theme of our little squirrel, right? Squirrels kind of become my little mascot, with the squirrel and the little acorn and then the pine cone. I did without reading a beat, I don't know about that. I did actually a video class, and it was way in the early days of COVID. So I want to say, Kim, it is maybe video 6 or 7. And I talk about, and the entire class is about how you can make your own charms. And I go through lots of different ideas on how you can make your own charms. But if you are interested in making your own, I would definitely suggest checking out that video. All right. So for January, and that's what tonight's class is for January, we are going to be using everything that doesn't look like February, right? So we will be using these 3 double-sided papers and the 12 by 12 sticker. And then we'll be using some of the things, actually pretty much everything in your little baggie. Now, I don't know if I saw somebody say that her snowflake came unbroken, which leads me to believe that somebody probably made a comment before that I missed, that said that their snowflake arrived broken. If your snowflake arrived broken, if you have some wood glue and you want to glue that back together, really any kind of liquid glue, and that works for you, then great. If not, After class, you can go to my website at laelbymail.com, click the contact us, and then let me know, and I will just pop another little snowflake to you in the mail. There's a technique that I did on this little snowflake that I will show you, that if yours came broken and you are able to glue it back together, you won't even notice that it was glued back together. Sometimes with the mail, we never quite know what's going to happen. Okie dokie. So when I am working in a new traveler's notebook, or working, I guess, basically on a new month, and I do every month, I reconfigure my traveler's notebook. In most cases, I'm using a completely different cover. And that's just me, right? That is not everyone. Not everyone does that. I still feel like we're a little crooked here. Not everyone, I'll get us right. Not everyone changes out their cover every month. That's just my personal preference. To me, a cover is kind of like a pair of shoes or a purse. I'll change my purse out by season. Sometimes I change it out every month. It just depends. Now, during COVID, I definitely don't change my purse out, because if I don't leave that, well, I leave the house, but really, I just use a black purse all the time because I'm leaving the house so rarely that it doesn't really matter. Anyhow, Doreen just asked, how do I store those big sheets? You mean these big 12 by 12 papers? I use these things. It's a cropper hopper. So 12 by 12, and they just fit very nicely right into my little IKEA shelving unit. If I will remember once we're done, I will link to those in the description of the video, so you can see what I use and where I got them if you want to know more about them. But really, now we're just going to use most of it. So we're going to go ahead and grab our trimmer. So if you have a big trimmer, you'll want to get that out. Or if you have a smaller trimmer, whatever it is, we need to start by trimming some of our papers. Kim made a great suggestion, Doreen. Keep the giant Ziploc bag. And put your things in the giant Ziploc bag, because that's a great place to store them as well. Okay. So we're going to start out with this piece of paper first. It's pretty normal that I use or incorporate a piece of paper like this in the Traveler's Notebook kit, because there's lots of different color and lots of different pattern, and then a lot of times I'll use the different cards for not only stuffing the pockets in my Traveler's Notebook, but also to use to decorate my slip covers. So let's go ahead and grab your trimmer. And we're just going to trim apart all of those pieces. I want you to go ahead and save, as you're cutting off these little product strips, save those. Because sometimes I do things with these, and I'll probably do something with a few of these when I start to set up my calendar at the end. At the very end, that's kind of when I do an ad hoc session, and it just continues on, but I use a monthly insert that has a calendar on it, and I decorate that with kind of what I have left over. And I just realized that I must still be in the holiday mode, because I did not bring that upstairs with me either. I'll run grab that when we're done. So I'm just going to come in and trim apart all these little pieces. A lot of them we won't use, well, I didn't use, I shouldn't say we. Actually though, some of these little guys I may end up using when I decorate my month. So we're just going to come in and trim off all those little pieces. There are also, and that's maybe what I see you guys talking about, there are some clear plastic boxes with lids where the lid kind of is the word I'm not, hinged at the end, and it opens up like that. And they're about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches thick, that are a little bit bigger than 12 by 12, that are also great for storing larger papers like this. But if you're not in the habit of regularly buying larger sheets, 12 by 12 things, then I probably wouldn't do those, just because I probably stick with either, even the baggie. That's probably the best suggestion. But you can, there's lots of different options out there if you start kind of looking at what's out there and what's available. Iris, there we go. Iris carts, Iris something. Iris cases, there we go. Yes, Iris cases. Thank you, Trisha. All righty. So I'll put all of those off to the side. And then we have these two papers. And it's these two papers that we will be using to slip cover our inserts or our little notebooks. The inserts that I use, the inserts that I always include in your kits, are called standard wide. So standard is always 8.2. I shouldn't say always. If people are using the terms correctly, standard should be 8.25 inches tall. That is standard. Standard wide is a little bit wider than standard. That's why it's called standard wide. So standard wide is 5 inches wide. This is what a standard looks like. So I know a lot of you bought this particular Traveler's Notebook cover. This is what a standard looks like. So still the same height. They're both standard height, but see the difference between the standard and the standard wide? The standard is about 4.33 inches wide. So you get just about almost 3/4 of an inch extra on one of your pages, right? On one side. So if you're working on a spread, you actually are getting almost an extra 1.5 inches in your spread as you're working. So that's really the only difference, is the standard and the standard wide. You just have a little bit more width. I prefer to use the standard wide. So that's what I always include in the kit. So when we are slip covering, let's talk about slip covering for a second, because I know we have lots of new folks. Slip covering, I generally am moving my insert from month to month to month. Now, this particular insert is the monthly, so my year is over, so I'll be setting this aside and starting a new one. But for the most part, when I set this up in July, let's say this. Let's go to October. When I was working with my Traveler's Notebook for the month of October, it was very Halloween-y, right? So it was decorated very much for Halloween. Well, when Halloween was over, I still needed to use my insert, right? I needed to move it into my November Traveler's Notebook, but I didn't want my cover to still have Halloween on it, because once Halloween is over, we don't want Halloween in November, right? So that's when I slip cover. And slip covering is something I came up with, I think this is the start of our 4th year doing these bi-monthly Traveler's Notebook kits. So I'd say probably about 6 months before that, it kind of came out of necessity for me, because I like to move my inserts from month to month to month. So I create slip covers. And this is kind of taking at least me back to being in grade school or elementary school when I was a kid. And you'd go to school and you'd get your books the first day of school, and your teacher would say, okay, everybody needs to go home and cover their books, right? Sorry, you guys, this just keeps bugging me so much. I'm just like crooked. I'm just so crooked today. I made it worse. It always takes a second when I make an adjustment. Oh yeah, wrong way. Takes a second when I make an adjustment for me to see it. All right, that's better. Okay. So reminds me of being in grade school, and you would have to create a cover for your textbook to help protect it. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're basically just creating a slip cover. Back then we used a brown paper sack. At least I used a brown paper sack. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create slip covers for our inserts. Kelly just asked, can you save slip covers and reuse them the next year? Absolutely. Absolutely, you can reuse them. Sometimes I will reuse them. Sometimes in a case like this, if maybe I didn't want to reuse this, sometimes I would just take this entire section, this piece right off of here, and if I couldn't lift it up, I might just cut it out and then use this on a scrapbook project or use it for a card or a tag or something like that. Okay, So because we're using standard wide traveler's notebooks, our standard again are 8.25 inches tall, which means if I want my slipcover to go from the top to the bottom, then these two papers I want to cut to 8.25 inches tall. So I'm going to rotate that into my trimmer, and I will trim that to 8.25 or 8 1/4. All right, there we go. I'm going to take this piece. Oops, I forgot to cut off the product strip, so let's go ahead and cut that off. All right, so this piece I'm going to do something with. Before though, let me double check. Gosh, it seems like ages ago we'll come back to this in a sec. When I designed this. All right, so now we're going to set both of those aside, and we'll do the same thing with this guy. We will trim that one trim our product strip off, and then also trim this guy to 8.25 inches tall. All right. Okay, so we have our two leftovers and our two main pieces. Our standard wide inserts, so wide was 5 inches, right? So one page would be 5 inches, which means when we open that up, this would be 10 inches, right? So we have 5 and 5. I don't need to trim this anymore because this is 12 inches. And if I want to slip cover, I need to have a little bit of something that is going to round the edges to hold it all together, right? So that's the only cut we need to make is 8.25, and we've done that for both of those. So I'm going to set my trimmer off to the side for a sec. We may need that again in a little bit. So let's take all of those little cards that we cut out. Let's also take this white piece of paper that was in your kit. We're going to do something fun with that. So Doreen, what's interesting is it was kind of by accident that happened. I had decorated a traveler's notebook insert like this. I had decorated it for the month of December, and I wasn't thinking. I glued Christmas paper, and I decorated it all cute with Santas and things. And then it came time to move out for December and moved into January, and I'm like, uh-oh, how's that gonna work? Because now this has Christmas all over, and I don't want Christmas. So that's when I came up with that idea for slip covering. Alrighty, so we have all those things. We also have our sticker sheet because we'll be working quite a bit with that. Okay, if you're missing a white square, that could be in your book. You also may not have a square, you may have a rectangle. Either way, you have what you need. So you should have that little piece in there somewhere. I always like to keep this off to the side, right? Because if I don't remember what I did. So we'll kind of put that right up here towards the top. Let's move it a little bit more so you guys can see it too. So we can all see what we're doing. And this is when it always gets a little tricky. Let's maybe try it over here so you only have to worry about seeing that side. So when it gets a little tricky because we need to see this, but also see this. So let's go ahead and open up your traveler's notebook cover. If you happen to be using a different size than the standard wide that we are using, you may just need to adjust things a little bit. If you're using maybe a pocket size or something like that, you will have much smaller inserts, and you may not have any pockets. You may have smaller pockets. For the most part, if you're buying your traveler's notebooks from me, they have at least one pocket over here. Some have more than others. Some have a window right here. Some don't. And we'll talk about different ways that you can kind of decorate or account for having a pocket or not having a pocket, whatever it is. All right, so I usually start at the top and work my way down. So I just start out by tucking things in. So this guy right here is the back side of the Let's Stay In card. So let's go ahead and grab this one, the Let's Stay In, and I'm using the opposite side. One thing that I do if you're joining for the first time and you haven't watched participated in any of the Saturday videos, Saturday classes, I outline almost everything I do. And when I say outline, I'm just doing exactly what you see me do there. I take a black Sharpie and I just outline the edges. It just, for me, really helps things to pop. It's a little bit harder to see on a darker like this, but I do it on everything. So that guy goes in first. And right now we're not going to be too worried about which way they're tilting until we get to the very end and we're ready to kind of set them in place. The next one is this little card. Now, sometimes the cards we're using for just a background and the pattern they have on them. Other times we are using them for the cute little, either the sentiment or the cute little drawing or icon or whatever it is. So in this case, we're really just using this for the background as well. So that will kind of go in there to give us a little bit of color variation. And then white. I like to use white a lot. So white, for me, just kind of helps to ground everything. So having those little white stripes in that piece against the snowflake, I think really helps. Over to our sticker sheet. We are looking for this sticker right here, that little snowflake that's just to the left of our little snowman. When I am working in my inserts, I tend to not use a lot of products that will add a lot of extra dimension. I don't necessarily want my inserts to be thick because if there's a lot of dimension, it makes it a little bit harder to write. But when it comes to the cover, my inside pockets and decorating, I'm all about adding dimension because it really kind of helps things to just stand out a little bit. And so I am going to add a little bit of dimension to my sticker. That just reminded me, Denise, I caught a glimpse of my red nails and I remembered that I saw something about nails and then I forgot to comment. So Denise said, do I have Carol Claus nails on? Because of you, I bought several pair. I love red aspen down. I don't know. It's just a red. And you know what? They are about ready to come off. If this is not your first time with me, I normally, well, even pre-COVID, I did gel nails and I always wore the same color, like a really faint ballerina pink. And I've worn that probably 7 or 8 years. The only time I ever do anything different on my nails, Christmas. I usually for about 2 weeks will put a red on. And with COVID, I was not doing, most of us, especially in the early days, weren't going to a salon or anything. So I had to come up with an alternative and I started using press-on nails from Red Aspen. And that's what that is what, oh heavens, Denise, thank you. I had to go back and look up. That is what Denise was talking about. So as I was talking there, I just took the little sticker that said winter. So it's a little teeny tiny thing just to the left of the snowflake that we just used. So that little winter sticker I put just right there on the center of our little snowflake. Okay, there's lots of chat going on today, so I always have to take a quick sec and make sure I didn't miss anything. Trisha, the Carpe Diem Travelers TN is standard wide. Yes, so that is all of the ones that look like this, whether they're monthly or weekly or daily or blank or whatever, are standard wide. This one that I showed you that came in the Doodlebug Traveler's Notebook, this is a standard. Oh, so that's fun. I want to just really quick mention what Dawn suggested, or one of the things that she does with her slip covers. Those of you that watch the replay, you would possibly miss, unless you happen to watch the chat or kind of follow along on the chat and the replay, which you can do. You are able to see the chat during the replay. But what Dawn said that she does is she basically, once the month is over, she cuts this out and then she would use it on the front page the very first page of her insert. And that the beginning of the month inside your TN insert. When the month is done, she cuts the front off, puts it in there. I just starts my month since I can get a few months, if that makes sense. I think so. Hi, Marie, welcome. Trisha, you only wear ballerina pink too and only that color. Yep, it's just good and subtle. Especially when you do this a lot, what I'm doing, teaching and on video a lot. Sometimes it gets very distracting because I talk a lot with my hands. So it's the ballerina is a good neutral. Okay, anyhow, next up, the Happy Snow Day sticker. So right there, Happy Snow Day. Here's the thing. I know not everyone lives in a land of snow, and that's okay, right? You don't have to live in a snowy land to decorate your traveler's notebook for winter. So even if you don't live in snow, this is how you can live vicariously through those of us that do, and I do. I live in Utah, and yes, we get snow, although this season so far, not a lot. We're kind of hurting for snow. Okay, next up, we're moving down to our next pocket. Here's what I did though. This really isn't a pocket, right? This is more a secretarial pocket. I can slide things in and out of there. So I'm kind of faking it and pretending like there's a pocket up there. And I bring that up because if you have a traveler's notebook that has no pockets, that's okay. You can still do what we're doing. You can still build all of this. You can build it as you go on one piece of paper. If you are doing that, you may need to get a piece of scratch paper or something and just keep going so that you have something to then maybe just tack down on the inside front cover of your traveler's notebook. All right, next up, we need, you see as I try to pull these things out so I can show you, when I am done decorating, once I get my traveler's notebook, I'm going to rip his little leg off. We don't want to do that. Once I get my traveler's notebook all decorated and everything in the pockets where I want them to be, I will use a little bit of adhesive behind the pieces to very gently, temporarily tack them down so that all this stuff doesn't move around throughout the month. That's why I was having a little bit of a hard time getting that out. Okay, so this little guy right here, this is a piece that I cut from what we had left over here. So we're going to need to grab our trimmer again. That's what I couldn't remember, what I had used. So let's go ahead and grab our trimmer. In this case, I'm just small. I've got a small little piece here. So let's go ahead and, we don't need much. I'm going to say, have that be about 3 inches. All right, let's have that be 3 inches. Denise, where are you? Where are you that it's snowing where you are? Just curious. All right, I know where Trisha is. Well, Dollar Tree Trisha. We have 2 Trishas on here, don't we? Did I see more than one Trisha? I don't know. All right, so outlined again. There, now that is more where you can see what it does when you outline. So right here, okay, Denise, I have no idea where that is. High desert, 30 minutes from Wrightwood. I have no clue. I don't know what state that is. So I'm totally lost. But you're California, I want to say, aren't you? Maybe. Okay, anyhow, see the difference between the outlining on the left and the non-outlining on the right? Just, I don't know, makes a big difference to me. At least that's what I tell myself. There we go, California. All right. Southern, you're Southern and there's snow? It is. It's 2020, isn't it? Now, depending on what traveler's notebook that you are working in, the depth of your pockets may vary. So what happened here, when I put that in there, my pocket is, it's not shallow, it's not deep enough, it's too shallow. So it's covering up too much up here. So I can either come in with my scissors, or sometimes I get really lazy and I just fold part of the piece up. There we go. Then we have another little sticker. Let me put this back here again so you guys can see. All right, I have used, if you drive to LA from Utah, Denise, I have done that many times. You will come right through my hometown of Hesperia. I've probably been through there and just not realized it. Oh, we have some Canadians too. All right, so this is the sticker that we're using next. Now, I did something to the sticker. I didn't particularly care for those little, I don't know, brackets or whatever they are on the sticker. So I just cut them off, right? So see how my sticker, my Fun in the Snow, doesn't have those little brackets. So I just came in and took my little scissors. I use these guys just because they give me a little bit more control. And I just came right in there and cut that right off. Oh, my garbage go. Golly, you would think I hadn't been working in here for a long time. I have, but between not having my second traveler's notebook and not having the monthlies, and all right, I'm not going to see the bottom, so I'm okay. This little guy now will go right over here. Now this is a sticker, right? It's important to know that because it's a sticker, it is going to stick. Depending on what kind of material your traveler's notebook is made out of, you may not want to put that sticker there. What will start to happen, and you'll see that right here in my December, sometimes your stickers start to stick. I had used a little bit of foam adhesive here, and I have a little bit of residue. It'll come off. I just haven't taken the time yet to take it off. Same thing here. I have a little bit of sticker residue on that little window pocket. So if you have a really nice leather traveler's notebook, I would probably take that sticker and maybe back it on a piece of cardstock or something, just so you're not adhering sticker to leather. All right, we are then, we'll just get this guy in there now for placement. Go ahead and grab the little snowflake out of the wooden snowflake out of your baggie. Now, there are, I think, 3 or 4 different snowflakes. So your snowflake may look like this one, or it may look like the one in my pocket, or it may be different. So whichever snowflake that you have, for now, just go ahead and tuck it right into that pocket. Then we're going to get the little ice skating polar bear. Seriously, isn't he the cutest? The little, I just fell in love with the little characters in this collection. We are using Winter Market from Cartabella. And they're just, I love, it's really, if you notice, the artwork is really, it's really soft, right? So when I say it's soft, when you look at the little characters and even the snowflakes, it's like, it's almost like, looks like it's watercolored. It has kind of a soft effect to it, and I really liked that. Trisha and Denise brought up 2 great suggestions. You can use Goo Gone to take the residue off if you have a little bit of residue on your traveler's notebook itself, like I showed you, or Denise made a great question that you can use baby powder to remove the sticky from the sticker. So we just kind of talked about 2 different alternatives there. 2 different things that you could use to solve potentially a problem that we are making for ourselves. Not a bad problem, just a problem. Oh, here we go. I have some foam squares. So foam squares or pop dots or dimensional adhesive, not dimensional adhesive. You might have foam tape, whatever it is. Denise, I did stickle the snowflake, but we're going to hold on to that for a sec. I'm going to come back and talk about the stickle because I actually stickled 2 different things. So I'll talk about that one in a sec. Just as when we already talked about this. Foam squares again. So I am using foam squares again to pop up my little polar bear. Totally had a brain cramp there. When I used foam squares, I used 2 different sizes, the big and the small. I have packs of those on my website. If you have a local scrapbook store, a lot of times your local scrapbook store will have packs of those as well. So the packs that I have 2 sheets, one of the larger size and one of the smaller size. And you see what I did there? This is why you might want more than one size, because I have a few smaller areas that I need to cover. And if you only have one size, that's where I just get out my little scissors and I get out my scissors and just cut them. So I'm going to move across the room for a second. I have a little garbage can on my desk that I need to empty. I've been working away on my December daily project, so it was full, a little garbage can. So, oh yes, I wanted all of these, and I just lost a bunch of them, maybe. I wanted all of those things to go in my garbage. 2 Trishas, yes. Trisha Ramirez and Trisha Tabor. Did I say that right, Trisha? I don't know if I've ever asked you how to pronounce your last name. All right, so this little guy, he is coming in this area, and one of his legs is tucking in the pocket, and one of his legs is outside of the pocket, just to give him kind of a little bit more dimension, like that. And we'll come back to that little snowflake again in a sec. Well, let me show you what I did in the next pocket. I was trying to decide if I wanted to skip that. Actually, let's skip it. We're going to skip this whole pocket right now, and we're going to come to this pocket and then this one, and then we'll come back to that one. So next pocket, this little guy, Hello Winter. So I've used that right there. This is a really good example of why I, lied. It's a sticker. Like, it's a really different size. I must have cut it down. No, it's a sticker. So, sticker. And I just put that. It is going right onto my traveler's notebook. So, sits right there. I did come in and outline it. See, so look at the difference, especially if you are working in a traveler's notebook like I am that has a white base or white interior. That sticker gets kind of lost. So that's also why I use a Sharpie a lot when I work, because Sharpie, permanent, and it will write very easily on a sticker. Sticker stock is coated, so it's kind of slick, right? And so if you try to write on that, not all pens are created equal. So if you try to write on that with a pen maybe other than a Sharpie, it may smear, or it may take a really, really, really long time to dry. Here's an interesting little tidbit. I'm going to squirrel for 1 second because I noticed that Trisha Ramirez said, hello, Dollar Tree, Trisha. Nice to meet you. Dollar Tree, Trisha, I met at a scrapbook store outside of Spokane, Washington, called 3 Craft Chicks. And Dollar Tree Trisha has a YouTube channel here, and she does kind of Dollar Tree hauls where she buys things from Dollar Tree and then comes home and does a video and shows you what she has bought. So it's kind of a fun, if you like Dollar Tree shopping, which I know a lot of us do, it seems to have become really popular lately. So anyhow, you might want to check her out. Okay, so next to our little Hello Winter, we have 2 penguins. So we have this penguin that looks like he or she is doing a little pirouette, ice skating. And then this little one right here with the little beanie hat. So my friend that is doing the pirouette, he or she is flat. And when I say flat, I mean I adhered directly with no foam squares or pop dots. I always just call them pop dots. So when I say pop dots, just know that's what I mean. When I first started crafting or scrapbooking, which has been about 23 years ago now, more than 23, they were called pop dots because they were little dots that were in a sheet. Anyhow, they were called pop dots. So that's just what I call them. I just don't want anyone to be confused when I start talking pop dots. So in this little guy, I have only adhered my foam squares or pop dots to the top part, not the bottom part. And that's another great way to get added dimension, because if I put this little guy down here flat, then he's flat right here, but then this top part of him is raised. So it just, like I said, just gives another little layer of dimension, just like we added this guy right here, half in the pocket, half out. This guy popped up top and not below. All right, we need a little snowflake to go over here. So that is this guy. I should also point out going to add a little foam square here, but this is just the way that I've decorated my traveler's notebook. Feel free, if you see something, if you see a different sticker and you want to do something different, you should absolutely do something different. You don't have to do it the way that I do it by any means. This is my traveler's notebook in front of me. The one that you have now is yours, and you should make it how you want it. All right, we're going to take 2 trees. So that tree right there and this little tree right here. This little one that was right there. One thing I should mention is as you are working, whether you are watching live or the replay, obviously with the replay, you know that you can stop and start the video at any time. But as you are watching live, you can also do that. You can pause the video. So if you're still working and I've moved on to something else, just pause the video and finish what you're doing and then come back and start it up again. Alrighty, we're getting close. Well, kind of, but not really. Okay, next up. I added this little sticker. So snow days are the best days. Now, this really reminds me of being a kid because every once in a while we would have snow days, and snow days meant there was too much snow to go to school, which was always awesome. They don't happen as much anymore. But snow days are the best days because if you live in a land of snow, sometimes you wake up in the morning or in the middle of the day and it snowed and it's all kind of comfy cozy and you're inside. Until it starts melting. And here when it starts melting, it gets all yucky and gross and brown and it's not very pleasant. This guy, because I was lazy, I put mine just right here on top of that window. If you didn't want to do that, so if you have a window and you didn't want to put it on top of the window, then you could pull out the little card that's in the window, or maybe you don't have anything in the window, cut a little piece of cardstock or something. Excuse me. And you could do this. Now, if I do this right now, this is the reason why I was lazy and didn't do it. If I do this right now and then tuck that back inside the pocket, I don't exactly know where to put it because I don't exactly know how far this comes down into the pocket, right? So I'm like, ooh, but if I put it on there, then it's going to be stuck. And what if it's too high or too low? So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to put it right there. So I just adhered it right to the top of that little window. If you don't have a window there, then you could just go ahead and stick the sticker down. Alrighty, below that, I am using Let It Snow. Let It Snow is down here along the bottom. I love these little stickers at the bottom. I always forget about them because they just kind of blend right in. They're just a nice little accent. I call these word strip stickers. And if you follow along on Saturdays or if you've purchased any of my mini book kits or scrapbooking kits, you probably know that I love a word strip sticker because sometimes, like that one, like right when we added that little word strip sticker to the center of winter, it just needed a little something, right? It just adds like the perfect little touch. And that's how I like to use the word strip stickers. So I just put that right down there. Next up, we have the 2 mittens. So both mittens, I left flat at the bottom. I use my arms and hands a lot of times to put stickers. It's good sticker storage. Okay, so all I did was put my little foam squares the very top of the mittens, not at the bottom at all. Because again, just like we did on this little guy, if we put a foam square or dimensional, little whatever it is, just on the top and not on the bottom, then it helps it just to kind of seem all the more real, right? It doesn't seem so real when it's flat, but it also doesn't seem so real sometimes when it is completely popped up. So a lot of times I will do that. All right, last thing right here, we have this little winter floral sprig. And it is, oh, there it is. Like I know I have it because it has to be there. If I already used it, it has to be there. On this guy, I ended up putting, with my little foam squares, one on one side and one on the other side. And think of this kind of like a butterfly. If you, you know, a butterfly kind of is a little bit maybe bent in the, I shouldn't say bent in the center, that sounds horrible. Straight in the center, and then its wings are flying in the air. This is like our flying winter floral sprig. If I just put my, my little foam dots right there, and then come in and press this down like this, then it's going to give it a little bit more dimension because the center is adhered down and then the edges are kind of flying up a little bit. So it's all about dimension. For me in the pockets, it's really all about dimension. All right, the last thing that we are going to do, well, the last couple of things we're going to do here. One of the things that I mentioned that was something that I used after the fact. I used a product called Stickles. And Stickles is basically a fancy name, a product name for glitter glue. So lots of us when we were little kids may have played with glitter glue. There were 2 different colors of Stickles that I used. And I think I linked to these in the description of the video. One is Stardust, one is Platinum. Platinum, there's something that's basically the exact same thing as platinum. It's called mercury glass. It is this one that I probably use the most of all on anything that I do. It is like the perfect blend of a gold and a silver. And that is what I used on the snowflake. So see how it's kind of like sparkly, shiny? I just did a little bit of Stickles on the snowflake. This is what it looks like without. See what a difference it makes? And it's just that little glitter glue. So I'll just show you what I did with that. If you have Stickles at home, you can pull some out. If not, like I said, I linked to some in the description of the video. I don't carry it, but I just usually buy it at, well, if I'm placing an order for other things, I'll buy it either at scrapbook.com. I don't really have a local scrapbook store anymore. Utah used to have a ton of scrapbook stores. But something like this, like the Platinum, if I know there are colors that I use a lot, and I'm basically just using that little applicator to paint it on. And the applicator, it's just like the point. So, but when I go and teach at scrapbook stores, that's when I'll usually, you know, grab another bottle there of my favorite colors, like the Platinum. I've also used Stardust, and Stardust is probably my favorite. I'm going to say clear. It's not really clear, but it's pretty neutral. It is kind of a little bit, kind of reminds me a little bit of a unicorn, just because it has, it's white, but then it has some sparkles in it. Ooh, Irene said puffy paint. Absolutely, you could try that. So Irene, this is what could be really fun. The puffy paint, you could potentially try on, and this would be easy to do because if it didn't work, then you could just get another piece of white cardstock. I used a white cardstock to make snow. So gesso and glitter, you could paint the snowflake and won't rub off. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Tricia. I will tell you, when it comes to mixed media, the most mixed media I get is Stickles. I couldn't tell you what the heck to do with gesso. I know people do cool things with it, but it's just one of those things that I don't have in my little repertoire. All right, so I have created little snow mounds. So see, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see. Maybe I'll try to kind of turn that so you can see it. I have taken the white cardstock and I just cut it. You don't have a template to do this, so we're just going to cut it on a little curve and layered it. So we have one in the back and then we have one in front. And I actually, the one in front, I adhered with pop dots. So it'd give it a little bit of layer. It actually also adds a little bit of shadow, and that's where you get the layer. But then I took my Stardust Stickles and just did the same thing. I just kind of painted it. It has now dried. I mean, I did this obviously. I was just trying to see. It's really not rubbing off. So I'm really rubbing that pretty hard. And I might have a stray one little glitter, but it's not really coming off. So that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. You either have, and I'll set that off to the side or else I'm going to end up with glitter everywhere, right? You either have a 4x4 or a 3x4. I think I started cutting 4x4s and then I'm like, well, that's silly. We don't need a 4x4. And then I started cutting 3x4s. So whichever piece that you have, we need, excuse me, 2 little shapes. You like glisten and stickles. Ooh, what? Noemi, I don't know what glisten is. Is that a color? I assume that's a color, right? So the first little angle, this is kind of just like a snow mound, right? There we go. There's my little snow mound. Oh, all right. If you have, of course that would happen. On the back side, I have the little price sticker. There we go. Because I want this snow mound to be in the back. Then what I have, well, this really won't work left over. If I had started lower, I could probably use the other piece that was left, but that won't work because it's too narrow. So I'll just take that. That's going to be my first little snow hill. And then this one, it's interesting because it's hard for me to start at this end. Probably because I'm right-handed, right? It's hard for me to start on this end. But as I looked at this, I guess I probably started like this, went down a little bit, and then I ended up coming back up. So there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? It's like the unicorn one. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for glisten. The nice thing about stickles, they're usually between like $2 and $2.50 for a bottle, and they go a long way. I mean, there's a lot that you can do with them. I've used mine a lot in my little December daily project too. All right, so there we go. There are my 2 little snow hills. Now, I am going to end up putting more stickers over this. You can tell I've got stuff on my hands because it made a little bit, I've got a few fingerprints on there. So, this guy's flat. This guy on top, just trying to see what I did. I just, it looks like, put 1 foam square right here. Now, I didn't pre-stickle. I stickled, it sounds so funny. I added my little glitter glue after everything was in the pocket. I don't think there's really a right or wrong way to do it. His little, I was gonna call it a hoof. I don't think he's I don't know. Do polar bears have hoofs? I don't know. Hooves? Not hoofs. Hooves? All right. So there we go. And I'm actually just going to come in and with my tape gun and add just a little tiny bit of adhesive right behind that so that kind of tucks in the pocket there. Now before I start adding my stickles paw, there we go, duh. Oh gosh, Denise. Okay, I'm sure there's something with like mammals have paws and other animals have hooves. No, because horses have hooves, right? Horses don't have paws. Okay, that was silly. Anyhow, I don't know how they distinguish between when an animal has a paw and when an animal has a hoof. Hoof. Boy. All right. Anyhow, that's what happens when we do these things sometimes at night. It's been a long day sometimes, right? All right. So let's go ahead and add more stickers because we don't need to put our stickles behind all of the white, just what's going to show after we put our stickers on. This guy, oh, he's so cute. He's like this. Hey everybody, how's it going on the little ice skating rink? He's cute. So we have one little foam square, about like that. And just like we did the polar bear, one of his little ice skating paws is in the pocket and the other one is out, just again to give us a little bit more dimension. And then we have some mountains because we need to have mountains with our snow. These mountains are snow-capped. So I took all 3. What I think probably one of my favorite things is I decorate, and you can, if you have other product at home that you want to add to what you're doing, you absolutely can. But I think what's pretty cool is that you can decorate your insert or your traveler's notebook for the month, basically using a couple pieces of paper and some stickers. And it looks pretty decorative, right? You don't have to use a ton of product, which I think is nice because then that makes it economical. And then you have, you can do other things. All right. So let's just double check. I think everything is good to go. If you don't have stickles, you just have cute snow in there, right? It's still cute. If you wanted to maybe outline the snow. So when I say outline the snow, basically do this and outline your little hills. That would definitely make it stand out a little bit. In fact, I'll do that just so we can see what that looks like. And then I'll go ahead and add my stickles over the top. Just because my insert is white. And actually, really what makes that work is if you look at our mountains here, our mountains are already outlined. So outlining our snow doesn't necessarily look like it's totally out of place because the mountains are outlined already. That's part of the art. I better lift those up, move one, just because it was in the way of the outlining. All right, we're pretty much outlined. So if you don't have any glitter glue and you want to leave it like that, then there you go. What I'm going to do is really quick, I'll come in with my Stardust, and that's just what I like to use for a clear. And then I'm just going to come in and just squirt it out a little bit. And there's not a lot. I don't use a lot. Okay, get between his little ice skating paws there. So you can see how I'm just, let's see. You see how I'm just using that tip just to kind of swirl it around? And really, I don't need a lot. There we go. Isn't it amazing how much that just, it's kind of hard. I try to move it around at different angles to see if it can catch the light. But it just gives it so much more dimension. All right, now we're not done with our dimension yet because there's one more dimension that we need to do. Well, that I did. In your kits, you have, I know, right, Joanne? Not touching it while it dries. Here's the thing is that we're pretty much done with this. So right now you can set this off to the side because as we slip cover our inserts, we don't need to add our inserts right now. We can just slip cover them. And then when this is all dry, then we can go ahead and then put it, oh gosh. What do you suppose? Yeah, look at, I wasn't sure what I did with the, yeah, there it is. So my tape runner has a little bit of glitter on it, but a little glitter never hurt. When I'm done, when this is really dry, I don't want to shove it in there too much. When I'm done, I will come back in. I'll probably just take maybe a little glue dot or something, either that, or I'll put maybe a foam square right there and tuck that in the pocket so it doesn't, so it's not gonna, I don't want to lose it. There is a little hole in the bottom of the ornaments. I don't know why I call those ornaments. I know. We just undecorated the tree today. There's a little hole in the bottom of the snowflake. So what I would do is just put that little hole into the pocket so you're not going to see it. So let's move this guy out of the way while he is drying. Next thing is I love to use pom-poms in my Traveler's Notebooks. So that's what this little piece of trim is. It's a little pom-pom trim. We're going to take that and I wanted to just look for something real quick. Hang on. Oh yeah. Oh good. It's here. All right. So we're going to take this and we're going to use either this piece to adhere it to or this piece to adhere it to. And it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. It eventually gets tucked into your pocket, right? So look at, this isn't even from this kit, right? This paper is not part of this kit. As you work with me through the year, if you keep doing the bi-monthlies, every couple of kits, I will include different pom-pom just because I like to use it a lot. But what I like to do is I save these pieces because you don't see any of this pattern paper, right? It all gets tucked inside the pocket. So all you see are the little pom-poms. So once you're done with, actually we use that pom-pom trim for both January and February. But once you're done with January and February, if you wanted, you could just keep pulling that piece out and using it in your traveler's notebook as a cute little decoration, or just keep collecting them or whatever you want to do. I want to do a quick little segue because you can do one like that, or you can do two. So what that is, I have taken two, let's see if you can see this. There's actually two pieces of pom-pom trim in there. One is white and one is pink. And basically, I stapled them because there's a lot more kind of mass, I guess. I don't know what word I want to use there. But there's a lot more. With one, I can glue it. With two, it's a little bit harder to glue. So I just stapled. But I just pushed my white one down, maybe just like a 1/4 of an inch. I put the pink one down first, then put the white one down, maybe like a 1/4 of an inch, so that they kind of went, you know, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Kim, you don't have that in here? You don't have the little, oh, hold on. Is this what you meant? I don't know what you mean. Do you mean this one? I'm confused now. Totally confused. I'll keep watching the comments so I make sure. Oh, red line tape. There you go. Or put now in the front and the back of the paper. Oh, look at you guys are all so smart. Okay, I love this. So let's talk about this. Irene suggested red line tape. So red line tape is, let me see if I have a little bit handy here. A little bit. Let me see if I have a roll handy. Probably not. Well, let's just pretend. This guy is double-sided tape. It's just not red. So red line tape is basically the same thing, but it is red. The tape itself isn't red, it's just the covering is red. Either way, super strong adhesive. So you could use red line tape to adhere one of the pom-poms trims. And then what Noemi said, which is a great suggestion, you could put the pink on one side, if you were doing a double like this, pink on one side and then the white on the other, and then it'd be kind of alternating. But that is something. So Kim, I think this is what, this guy, talking about the little one, little TN is a adorbs. This guy? This is regular size TN, not little. That's good to know. I'm going to do red line tape with my little pom-poms next time. This is the same size as this one. I think that's what you're talking about. This guy, I decorated, oh my gosh, in one of the Saturdays. It's been a long time because I think it was early summer. But this one, it is coral. Yeah. I want to get this one out again. This makes me, I love summer. Winter, I'm not I'm not as fond of, but yeah, this was super cute. This is the Coral Traveler's Notebook. Yeah. So the coral and then the inside with the black and white polka dot. I think it's just so smart. It's just so sharp. Okay. Anyhow, little segue there, but I think that kind of segues. Okay. Look how cute though, when you get the double, and then it's just kind of like fun and whimsical. And it reminded me of kind of that little trim on the golf cart. All right, so let's get back to our task at hand. What I'm going to do, I usually make this about 8 inches tall. Whether you have a secretarial pocket like this that's open at the top, or whether you have a closed pocket. So this is just a slide in, kind of like this one. This one was closed, where we're just sliding all the way in. It's closed up at the top. Either way, I usually make my base piece about 8 inches tall. So I'm just gonna do this off to the side. 8 inches. So that with my 8 inches, that little guy will just slide right in there. And if it's too tall, you can trim it down a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of liquid adhesive, basically just a little bit of glue, or if you have actually, let's try our double-sided tape. I don't need to use the glue. Or stapler, whatever it is, because remember, we're not going to see it. We're just using this as a little card to have it hold on to. Someone mentioned before what you love about Cartabella paper. So Cartabella is the collection or the company that makes this collection that we're using. Textured, right? Isn't that nice? Really nice, kind of heavy textured. All of the Cartabella papers are textured like that. So you may, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and just trim off a little bit, that little excess, because I really don't need that excess. Uh-oh. Yeah, I should have. That's what happens when I don't put my scissors away in the right place. Here we go. I've lost a pom-pom. I have a dangling pom-pom. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and stick it down. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice and sticky. That'll be awesome. So you have, I think, 9 inches. So you have plenty if you're doing 8 for your card. And then we'll just chop that off right there. There we go. And then this guy would just tuck right in there. So I buy all of my pom-poms from Amazon because I need a lot. But you should be able to find pom-poms at craft store. So Hobby Lobby, I know, has the pom-pom trim, you know, just on the big rolls in the fabric department. I would imagine that Joann's would too, or if you have a local fabric store or whatever. You can buy it on Amazon. I'm sure you can find other places online, but you just buy a lot, like a lot. All right, you'd be making pom-pom little cards for all of your friends. Okay, so now that we have the base part of our Traveler's Notebook all put together, now we are going to slip cover our inserts. So now I don't want to put this one away. This makes me want to be in summer. Long ways away from summer. Okay, so we'll put this. Actually, we passed the longest or the shortest day of the year, right? We're, I guess, now on the upswing again. Okay, so let's grab this guy. Oh, actually, okay. You guys bear with me one sec. I need to go grab a new monthly. Actually, I won't do that. No, I need to go grab a new monthly because I'm going to need it anyway. So bear with me for one sec. If you need to grab something to drink or take a quick break, I'll be right back.
How's it going?
Good. Still going. I just forgot some. Okay, I walked slowly up the stairs so that I could breathe. Oh, Lordy. Okay, that's a combination of getting old and probably a COVID, I don't know, 10 or 15 or 800 pounds or whatever. Okay. Okay, so I am grabbing monthly because that is one of the inserts that I like to use in my Traveler's Notebook. Not something that you have in your kit, but since we're done with the year, I'm going to slip cover this new guy. So, using this one, red, then teal, polka dot, I know. So, here's the thing, Kim, and like I said, for me, it's like a pair of shoes or a purse, and because they're ones that I have and use, you're pretty safe in knowing that I'll use them at some point in the kit throughout the year. All right, so using this one first, I always start out with folding it in the center. And folding it in the center, there's 2 ways that you can do that. Well, you'd probably think there's just one way. There's actually 2 ways that you can do it. I always fold with the outside pattern in. So like this. This is the outside. I want to fold with the outside in. The reason I do that, and this is actually a really good one to demonstrate with. If you would like an exact fold, then you can get out your bone folder, your scoreboard, or whatever it is. I've got the outside in. With pattern paper is always printed on a white core paper, right? Which means the paper's white and the ink lays on top. When you fold the paper, a lot of times you will see the fibers start to break. So you can see that a little bit on my red one, I think, where the fibers are breaking. Let's see if we can see it. Hold on, I'm looking at this one that I did here. Okay. Let me turn this the other way. All right, you probably won't be able to see this. Maybe I can see if I can make it really happen. What happens when the fibers break? I'm making it happen a lot here. You start to see the white core of the paper, right? And so that's what we're seeing right there. Interestingly enough, when you fold, the breakage always occurs on the outside, not so much the inside. That is why I always fold with the outside in. Your breakage is going to happen along the outside, which when you end up folding it, it's the inside. Does that make sense? Just a little tip that you don't have to get too caught up in, but that's what I do. So I take my insert and I open it and I put it in the center of that fold. Then I move everything over to the right-hand side, except for the cover. And I do a little fold right here. Now, if you really wanted to get into that breakage, then you'd probably do this also backwards, but for the sake of time, I won't do that. So you'd fold outside in and then come in and turn it inside out, and you know what I mean. So there we go. That is how that piece is making sure my slipcover stays on. What you can do in your kits, you have a little popsicle stick. With that popsicle stick, you have two different washies. So the snowflake washi is the washi that I have given you for February. Usually, sometimes, maybe sometimes not, I will take the washi and take a strip of it, usually about a 4-inch strip, and I put it right here. So let's go ahead and do that. And that just helps to temporarily adhere that. But here's the thing that I started to find. And you'll notice that I did not have that on December. Just that fold is enough to fold that and keep it in place. So I don't really even need the washi on my slipcover if I don't want to have it. All right, Trisha, thanks for joining. We'll see you. I'm sure you've got it all done. Have fun at work. All right, so I'll take this little guy and go right like that. And that's just temporary, right? It's washi. So it will hold as long as I want it to hold. And then when I'm ready to pull it off, I'll pull it off. To do the other side, what you do not want to do, you don't want to do this. You don't want to take all the pages and put them over here, just like we did on the front. You don't want to do this. Because if you do that, as soon as you go to close it, you need to have a little bit of extra paper here to round that curve. And if you were doing it flat, you didn't give yourself the extra paper that you needed to round that curve. So at this point, what I do is I come in and I close it because I've now given myself enough to round the curve or the spine. And then I fold this part over. Does that make sense? You definitely want to give yourself enough to round that curve, because if you don't, when you go to close it, it's totally going to bow. And nobody wants a bowed Traveler's Notebook insert, right? All right, so if I wanted, I could add my washi there. And if I was taking my inserts out, maybe I was doing something and I just threw this in my purse or in my bag or something, I would probably do that. But really, as long as they're living in your Traveler's Notebook, you can see I didn't do that. I rarely do that anymore because it's a little bit easier to, you know, re-slip cover when you're ready for the next one. Okay, I am going to grab over here to the side corner rounder. And this is purely just a design preference that I have. That needs to be emptied. All right, so on this guy, let me pull him out. You can see that my corners are rounded. So the corners of the Carpe Diem inserts, and those are the ones that I'm always using in the kits, those are already rounded. When we do our slipcover, we have right angles, right? Not rounded. Design preference for me. You do what you'd like to do. I like to come in and round my corners. So I come in with this guy. This is called a corner chomper. It chomps through a couple of different layers at a time, right? Because when you think about it, I really have at least 2 layers because I have this part of my cardstock and this part of my cardstock. So that's what I use this guy for. In my corner rounding tools, I also have these little guys. So these guys are great for rounding like 1 sheet of cardstock. I don't know that I would try to do 2. So if you have something like this, just beware of maybe trying to do what I just did where you're rounding 2. Sometimes you even will get like that. I got a little kind of snip of the cover of the insert. So I'm kind of even rounding 3. And I don't know that these are designed to round that much at one time. All right, but there is my first insert slip covered. Now, back to my outlining. I always like to outline. So, I just come there and do my little outline. You can use a ruler, but when you get to the curve, I'm not sure how you ruler a curve. All right, now for the decorating. We are taking this cute little snowman and outlining. Well, we know I like to outline, right? But the problem is when you're working with something really dark like this card, it's really hard to see an outline, especially on this card, because when you look at it, you can see that there's actually like a black grid in the pattern behind it, right? So then if I outline with black, then it gets really weird. So what I like to do on dark colors, I use my white Jelly Roll pen. So this was one of the products that I said that I would be adding on and using for as I was decorating my kit. So I'm just taking that white pen and doing my outlining. I mentioned I've been crafting for a really long time. I have bought a lot of white pens in my day, a lot. This is by far, this Jelly Roll, and I sell them on my website. I've linked to them in the description of the video, I think. But this is by far my favorite white pen because look how easy that was. A lot of times what happens with white pens, they skip. And when I say they skip, you end up with some writing and then you end up with like a skip and it's really faint and then you get the white again. These just work really well. So there he is. Now, before I adhere him, there's something that I need to do. If you see my little finished sample here, I have used this little piece of twine and made a scarf for him. And the way that I did that, I just poked 2 holes in that card. So one on one side of his neck, not neck because snowmen don't have necks. One on one side of his real scarf, well, of his scarf that's on the drawing, and then one on the other side. So I'm going to come in with my paper piercer. If you have a paper piercer or if you have a, even your scissor blade. So I'm We'll do that right there. And that right there. So literally on either side of his neck, right? If he can wear a scarf, he has to have a neck. What I'm going to do though, I needed to know exactly where to place those holes, so I had to do it on this side. But I'm going to try to come in now and poke through the opposite way, because I learned this the hard way. Because if I'm trying to get this through that little hole, it's a lot easier if the paper is now sticking out this way from punching the hole, if that makes sense. And probably what I need to do. The paper piercer. You know what, Denise? I think if you go to, I will link it after I'm done, or it is a tonic. I'll link it after I'm done. Or you can find it if you go to my website. On my website, there is a link up at the top that says favorite tools and accessories. That's where I always link pretty much everything I use. So all the tools like that. Some things I carry on my website, that I don't. But it'll send you a link to it. All right, so now I had to make the holes a little bit bigger just because it's a little bit harder to get this through. But we'll thread that through. An awl, perfect. So Nancy uses an awl. Do I have an awl? Oh, I don't have an awl, but I actually, one of the videos that I did, again, way early in the pandemic, maybe like week 7 or something, I want to say. You'll find all these videos that I keep referencing here on my YouTube channel. But I did a Saturday class on making your own traveler's notebooks and how to use some really thin string and an awl or a paper piercer to actually kind of adhere them together. Super easy to do, but that was a fun one too, because the nice thing about that is then you can add all kinds of things inside. All right, in your inside pages, because you're making your own. You can just add whatever you want. All right, so there we go. Now you can tie a bow. I just tied a knot because, you know, his scarf that he already has on has a knot, so that made sense. So you could do this with, I mean, if you have a ribbon, you could really do this with anything. But I thought it'd be kind of fun with twine because he's kind of twiny. He has, you know, with his little stick arms and things. All right, so now what I did. Oh, you did, Noemi. I'm so glad. Yeah, with bookbinding, it's super easy to do. And you don't really have to have any special tools. If you have a paper piercer, well, you really either need a paper piercer or an awl. I wouldn't try to use scissors, but all right. So there we go. The only problem is his scarf's kind of out of control, right? That scarf's going to be going every which way but Tuesday, and we don't want it that way. So I like to use a little bit of liquid adhesive. And you'll see here, if I pull that up, I mean, I'm pulling, I'm pulling, and it's not going anywhere. So I take a little bit of liquid adhesive, a little bit of glue. So whether it's craft glue or if you have like Eileen's tacky glue, really any kind of, you know, quick drying, clear drying craft glue. So I just put a little dab right there and a little dab right there and hold it down for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or something. And that's going to ensure that his little scarf is going to stay nice and cute and not get in his eyes. But for the sake of time, I won't do that right now. I'm going to take my little card and adhere that right to my insert. Now, I generally like to, I don't usually like to center things. When I say center, I mean top to bottom. I usually like to go in the top third. It's kind of that, there's a design concept called rule of thirds, where it's more aesthetically pleasing if you place things in thirds. So either the top third, the bottom third, generally not the center. Anyhow, that's why I do that. So then we're taking a little sticker that says Snow Much Fun. And that is right over here. Hopefully, and I should probably mention this, if you, hopefully you know what to do with your traveler's notebook. all of this that we're doing. Once you're done with it, you have this, and then you use this, right? You use inserts and things. If you're super, super, super new to Traveler's Notebooks and you're not quite sure what to do with all this, I mean, it's cute, you had fun, but what to do with your inserts, I recommend that you go and watch the very, very first Intro to Traveler's Notebook video that I did. I did that week 1 of the pandemic. It was March 21st, so I'll probably never forget that. And it's just out here on my YouTube channel. These videos that we do together as part of the kit, these are exclusive. So these are exclusive only to those people like you that purchased the kit. If you went to my YouTube channel, you would not see this. You have to have the link. If you ever lose the link and you need to come back and watch it for some reason, just let me know and I'll resend it to you. But not everyone can see these because they're part of the kit. Oh, I just added that little snowflake. So I'm adding a couple of snowflakes right here. But the Saturday ones that I do and that I've been doing, my gosh, I think we just barely hit 40 weeks in a row, which is how long we've been in the pandemic. Anyhow, those are free for anyone to watch. So if you missed any of those and you want to go back and just kind of watch them and have fun and learn, then you can absolutely do that because you'll just see them here on my YouTube channel. There is a playlist. This one gets pop dotted. There's a playlist that you'll find on the channel too. Channel as well, I should say, not channel 2. On the channel as well, that where I've put all of the videos together in one spot, so it's easier to find them. All right, so there we go. There is our first insert, okay? I generally will spend more time on the first insert than I will the second one, just because the first insert is the one that I always see. Second one, not as much, right? So I will just take this guy. Oh, there must be football on tonight. I hear someone in the other room in my house. They were working on a puzzle. I can't imagine they're cheering about the puzzle. I'm sure they're cheering about the football game if there's football on. Oh, it's Monday night, of course, right? Monday night football. But these days, it's kind of like any night football, it seems, right? All right, I didn't want that in the center one, so let's get that in there without touching the stickles again, without touching the glitter snow. All right. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. Our second one. So the second one, we're basically going to do the exact same thing as we did first one. I want to fold that outside in, like so. Come back and do that the other way. We'll do this guy. Back to the center. Now you're pros. Now you know exactly how to slip cover your Traveler's Notebooks. And what's so fun about this, I think, too, is depending on how long you've been crafting, and if you've been a scrapbooker or a card maker, I know we always have lots of people that aren't really crafters, right? Maybe you don't really craft, or maybe you haven't, been a scrapbooker in the past, or are still a scrapbooker. So the 12 by 12 paper this size may be a little bit newer to you. But 12 by 12 is something that we, usually use a lot in scrapbooking. So if you happen to have extra 12 by 12 papers in your stash, what's so nice is that you can continue to, really it opens up a whole new world, like going back to some of your old scrapbook paper, right? Because you can use it to slip cover your inserts. You guys, have more than one Traveler's Notebook that I am working in at any given time. I think usually it's probably about 3 or 4. I have my regular monthly one, like the one that we're putting together, that I use with my calendar and that I use for notes and projects and things like that. I have my listing one that I do. That's the one I showed you earlier. This is what we generally are doing on Saturdays. We're making different kinds of fun lists. So we have this guy that goes in a whole other Traveler's Notebook. I have a coronavirus Traveler's Notebook that I've been using when I've been documenting the coronavirus. So I use more than one. Absolutely, that's for sure. All right, I'll come back in and around the corners. As we're working, especially those of you that are new, if you have any questions, please, please, please Feel free to ask. Don't be shy. I'm friendly, and everyone here is friendly. A lot of times, especially if I miss a question, or sometimes if I don't see it, the ladies that are, well, and you know, sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes I don't know if men are participating or not, because sometimes it appears that I'm mailing something to a man based on his name. But then I also know that there are some women that just have things, you know, the PayPal may be their husband's name or something, but I generally just say women. So the ladies, I should say the people, let's just say the people that participate both in these classes and especially on the Saturday ones are super, super nice and friendly. And I love all the tips that you guys share, like you've been sharing tonight about, oh, I use red line tape for that, or you could try this, or what about stapling, or, you know, whatever. All right, on this guy, I actually use two. Yes, I use two. Oh, look what I did. See, it's such habit. Now I know what you're saying, Denise. She said, no, white pen on that cover. And she's right. I did use white pen, so this will get a double. I'll just come back in with my white and go right over that black. We'll never even know it's there. It's such, it really, just that white on dark. It just, I think, is such a nice contrast. Oh, I know something fun I'll show you guys that I just did. This is, I'm trying to concentrate by go over that black line, so bear with me for a sec. I just learned something yesterday. I experimented with something, and I print my own photos at home, so I wasn't worried that if it didn't work, because I just print another one. But you can use a white pen to write on your photos. Oopsie. So, that I wrote on that photo with that white gel pen. Isn't that fun? So if you are a scrapbooker or a memory keeper, some people do memory keeping in a traveler's notebook. I do that too. But you can write on your photos with that white gel pen, which I think is kind of fun. The other cool thing that you can do with the white gel pen, and this is something that was suggested to me during one of the Saturday sessions. Hang on one sec. Did you round inside corner, or is that just when you make your own? Did round inside corners. These guys. I did round those. Yes, I rounded those. I think that was the question, right? But one of the coolest things that this white gel pen also works for, let's see if I know, oh, actually, it just happened when we were listing the other day. Let's see. If you make a mistake as you are writing, which happens, right? Now I'm having a hard time finding it. Oh, okay, here. So here's an example. So I was writing here, this was one of our lists from Saturday, things I learned in 2020. And this was very much kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of lots of funny things. And I was writing, a pedicure is well worth the money. Well, what happened, I was talking and I was thinking and I was trying to write at the same time. And as I was writing the word worth, in my head I was thinking the, and I wrote worth and then added an E on the end because in my head I was the. So I had W-R-T-H-E, which I'm like, oh no, I used black pen. So all I had to do, I literally took my white gel pen. I don't know, I'm going to try to put this up here really close to see if you can see it. But you see where that E was? It was right there at the end of the H. When I get it that close, you can kind of see it. But all I did was write over, it's like a whiteout pen too, which I didn't know that. Somebody suggested earlier this summer when we were working on a list. That was fun. Oh yes, I know that stamp is so fun. That is from the List It To stamps that I have on my website. Okay, but all those kind of things. So some of you that do my Saturday classes and also do this, you're getting kind of like double dose because I talk about a lot of those things just as they happen in class. All right, so To decorate this one, I used this pretty card. I loved the white, right? The white on that navy is just like so striking. It's just so beautiful. And of course I thought, oh, I'm gonna get my going to get my white pen out again and outline. And this is probably what started the whole me thinking about using a white pen in this, you know, for this month, was because of this card with the white. That contrast is just so pretty. And if I don't outline things, it just looks so weird to me. So I'm like, uh-oh, I can't outline because it's not black, or because black won't show up. So the white works. If you wanted, I think what I did, as I look at this one, it looks like I probably went in, and I may have done a double outline on this. When I say double, I probably went on top of it again. I went on top of it twice, so it would be like really nice and bold. When you do that, if you're doing that, just make sure that maybe give it a minute or two to dry so it doesn't smear. Kelly, thank you. Yes, my handwriting. It's just, that's my natural look and style. That's just how I write. And I'm sure, you know, over the years it's kind of progressed, but that's it. There was never any practicing. I do remember when I was young, like 3rd or 4th grade, there were kids in my class that would ask me to like write their spelling words for them. Not like do their homework, but I don't know why they wanted me to write their things. All right, so a couple stickers we're going to add to finish this guy up. I pulled the winter from the bottom down below. And this kind of home sweet home, just, I don't know, for me, it just didn't really kind of vibe with what we're doing. It just kind of seemed a little bit out of place. So I just put winter right over the top of that. And then you have home on top, and home's okay. I know there's a little house there, but that's why I put that there. And it was also a little bit harder to see, and I felt like it needed something to kind of balance out what we're about to do right here. I talk through things like that because I think they're sometimes helpful to know why somebody did something or why they didn't do something. A lot of times on Saturdays, I'll do things. Guess what I did? So you can see 2 different options. For whatever reason, I decided that this was too wide. So see how it is wider? I cut some off the top and the bottom and the left side and the right side. So if you want to do that, you could. I'm going to do this one without doing that because I forgot. It doesn't really matter. All right. Then we need 2 snowflakes. This guy. Oh, I used the wrong snowflake before. Not the wrong one, I just did a different one. So we will use this one. Yeah, they're basically the same thing. Okay, so now we just need little pop dot. Both of those are getting pop dotted. Because that's pretty much, like I said, I don't know. When I'm doing my listing, I will sometimes put a little bit of dimension if a product that I'm using has dimension on it. But I generally try on the inserts not to have too much dimension. All right, so there we go. That's our second one. And then that little guy will just, hello, wrong one. That little guy will just pop right in here. And you now have your Traveler's Notebook set up for the month of January. So you are ready to go. At this point in the video, what I always like to do, or in each of the classes for each of the months, I always like to do a little ad hoc decorating. And so that is why I grabbed, oh, duh. Like, where is the monthly? What happened to it? I already covered it. That is when I like to take what we have left over and decorate my calendar for the month. Now, I have not yet, clearly because I had to go get that, added the dates. So, Friday's the 1st. Is that right, you guys? I need somebody to help me to make sure, right? Before I start with a pen, Friday is the 1st, right? The calendar on my wall still says November. That's bad. I'm going to look on my watch and see. Yes, thank you. Okay, thanks, Irene. All right, 1, 2. So I come in and I will date it first. Now, if you have other products in your stash, like if you have number stickers, you could certainly pull those out if you're doing a calendar. If you have stamps, you could do that. But I'll just get this numbered really quick because it'll just be good to have. 30, and then I will do this. 31. Put it there instead of up there. Alrighty. So now I look at everything I have left over. So these guys were kind of cute. These guys would be really cute just to put on a, right in one of my days, because they actually fit really well there. So I'm going to do that. You end up with a lot. I mean, we use a lot of what we have, but you also end up with a lot left over. So if you're using an insert, then I definitely, or a monthly insert, then I definitely encourage you to take what you have left over and to work with the pieces. But if you don't, then do something with them. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Do something with the leftovers, right? So this is the border sticker. I think I will, oh my gosh, look how cute it is. I haven't looked at that before. When you look at that, it has little like squirrels and snowmen and super cute. That's fun. All right, I think what I'm going to do is, so sticker, but I want it to look like washi. So I'm going to tear at the end so it looks a little bit like torn washi. And I will just put this right here along the bottom, just for a little accent. Then put that back down there. There's another one. So if I want to rip this again, this would be like scalloped washi. That would be cute there. That is so cute. I mean, the sticker. Can't stand it. Okay. I'm just playing. We're just playing with what we have left over. A lot of times what I do if I'm working with stickers that don't have little borders like this, that's where these guys will come in. The product strips. So the product strips, and it depends on the company. It depends on the manufacturer. Sometimes they have a pattern like this along the bottom. And this is basically, if I do that, right? Now that's a cool piece of washi. So I could use that anywhere in my decorating. I could put it up there, but I won't do that because that's, for me, too much, top and bottom. But you can use those strips basically to do anything with. Let's see what else we have. Oh, look at another snowflake. I think we'll use that guy. Oh, well, let's look at the stickers because there's a lot. Oh, this. I think we'll use this guy again. Well, actually, we haven't used him. We just used his twin brother that was on the card. There. And we know we like this his little friend is super cute. So that little friend will go there. Let It Snow. So Let It Snow is kind of big. Anything new coming in the end of this week? Kim. I have to think. Will you do me a favor, hon? Will you send me an email? I have to look. There's stuff coming in all the time, but I have to look because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Some of the manufacturers shut down between Christmas and New Year's. I have to look and see what's coming. So let me know. or not let me know, remind me, and I will let you know, duh. All right, so it was too big. So I just came in and cut it off, right? I cut it down so it would fit. And I don't know, I'm probably not doing it on the 18th because really probably not doing anything much. Not true, but. So how I use the monthly calendar, my husband and I normally both travel a lot. I am traveling to scrapbook stores and events and things like that, teaching. He travels a lot for his job, and COVID, neither of us have been traveling. So usually that's what I'm putting in my traveler's notebook. When I'm out of town, when I'm teaching, when he's out of town and things like that. This is not like my to-do list and, I need to go to the dentist tomorrow at 2. I don't use it for that. So a lot of times I will just do, especially COVID era, I will do something like this and just put that on a whole day because I know we're not traveling. Oh, these are super cute. There's so many little snowflakes. Sometimes we'll just put a snowflake on a date because you know that the 17th is between the 16th and the 18th. There's lots of little good stickers here, right? Happy snow day. We'll cover up the notes because we don't need that there. That's where also these little word strip stickers come in really well because they're little and they fit in our little boxes or along little boxes. Warm winter wishes. It's nice also when you have a month that starts later in the week because then you have some more little things to decorate. I think we need a little row of trees right here. So we'll do that. That's just really playing, right? We're just using up the extras. If if you're a scrapbooker again or card maker, or here's the other thing. Those of you that are participating when you're doing listing, if you're doing listing with us on Saturdays, totally save all these stickers, or some of them. If you want to do this, you can do this too. But save these stickers because these would be great to use on your lists. Look what we've done. We have decorated our inside cover. We have decorated the covers, slip covers for 2 inserts. We have started to build our monthly calendar, and then we still have all of these things left over that we could use in listing if we wanted. So I think I will probably leave it at this. Then I need to come in and just see what else I can add to my calendar. Like if there's any writing I can add, right? Oh, there's birthdays. That's the other thing that I do too. We have some family birthdays. Oh, well, this is not good because the 14th is not only our oldest son's birthday, but also my mom's birthday. So I really didn't want to put that there. Anyhow, let me just move this and then we'll just move this guy over somewhere else. Like maybe right here. All right. Yeah, so Denise, and what Kim, let me just touch on really quick what Denise and Kim are talking about if you are watching the replay and you're not catching the chat, because I want to make sure to address this. Kim asked, and then Denise said Denise was planning on ordering or placing an order tonight. If you guys don't know, if you place orders and then you see something, a day or 2 later and your order hasn't shipped yet, it's so easy for me to add to your order. You don't have to place another order. It's actually much easier on all of us if you just email me and I can add your order. That way you don't have to pay for shipping twice. And I don't end up charging you for shipping twice, but when you check out, it charges you. When your order ships, then I just refund the shipping. But you can always email me and say, oh, hey, I would like to add to my order, or can I, or do you have this, or whatever. So, no, that doesn't work. It's too green. Okay, anyhow, I will stop. Joanne, do you use the monthly more or the weekly more? So that's a really good question. Really quick, let me back up. I saw something. Someone else said I thought. Maybe not. Oh, Kelly, yes, Kelly. Would you use some of the stickers and cards for the pages too? Absolutely, for the inside pages in your inserts. Absolutely. Let me look at something. Me really quick. And you guys, if you are, obviously we're, and now I'm just chit chatting. So, if you need to run, go ahead and run. I'm just now kind of ad-libbing, and I want to show you something based on what Kelly just asked. Do you use the monthly more or the weekly more? So Joanne, that's a great question. Before I go look for something for Kelly and to show you guys, monthly more or weekly more? It really depends on how you work. My monthlies I use for when we're traveling and birthdays and things like that. Weeklies I use when I'm trying to kind of plan my week. If I know that on Monday I need to send out the email reminder about tonight's Traveler's Notebook class, then I put that in my weekly because it's too hard for me to do in a monthly. The boxes are too little. So I'd say more of my day-to-day stuff I use in the weekly. And then when I want kind of a month at a glance on 2 pages, that's how I use the monthly. So I really use them both. Yeah, I really use them both. So Kelly, hang on for a sec. I'm going to see if I can find, where is that? You guys, seriously, this is the problem. I'm like, where is that? Where is the example that I want to show her? And these are all that I use, you guys. So just, I don't just like teach it or sell it. I love it. I use it. Where? I will a lot of times, and I'm just not seeing it. I know what's going to happen, Kelly, as soon as we're done. I'll be like, oh, there it is. In a lot of there's one Traveler's Notebook that I don't know where it is. In a lot of when I'm doing project planning and things like that, for me to have just a blank page is just kind of eh. And if I have lots of stickers and things left over, why not put them on the pages, even when I'm just writing notes? I don't think it's here. Nope, anyhow. Somewhere in all the Traveler's Notebooks. But I do. So if I'm making a to-do list, or I am making here's my social media schedule or something for the month, I will add a little bit of washi at the bottom. And if I have extra stickers, I'll just pop stickers on the pages. So you can do anything you want. But I love stickers and I love all the stuff that we play with. So I figure instead of, getting to this point and being like, well, I don't really know what to do with this, I'll just throw it away. I just throw them in, a random page in my Traveler's Notebook, even if it is just making a plain old to-do list or something. Kathy, that's a great idea. Kathy says she uses the weekly as a daily journal and it works great. Some people do memory keeping, where they add just maybe like a little photo to the weekly. There was a Christmas to-do list with leftover Christmas stickers from last month. Perfect, right? So I end up using, I try as much as I can, and I have a lot of product, but I try to use as much of it as I can because for me, it is no good for me to store this away somewhere because by the time I pull it out again, I'll be like, why in the heck did I save that? And I'll throw it away. So I might as well use it. That's my perspective. Use it or lose it. All right, friends. So Nancy, yep, monthly for important dates and weekly for to-do type lists. All right, so what I'm going to do, there you go. You have a cart that you let your grandkids use, Denise, of your leftovers. I love that. That's a great idea. Okay, so I'm going to just switch the lights for a second because we're going to wrap up and we don't want to see me with the really bright studio lights because it's not pretty. And now it'll be a little bit dark in here, but oh yeah, look at that. It'll be a little bit dark. So hold on, arms and legs inside the ride because we're going for a spin. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's what we do, you guys. That's what we do. Those of you that are new, that's what these little live plan with me sessions are all about. I always try to incorporate some kind of new little tip or trick or technique in each of these. But sometimes it's just a great way to, depending on what you're using your traveler's notebook for. A lot of us use this for like work, right? This is our little Bible. This is what we open up every day and it tells us what we need to do, right? So it's by our side all the time. And sometimes we're opening it up because there is work we have to do. So why not have it be cute and fun and pretty when we open it up? That makes it a little bit easier for us to have to get to work, right? So that's what we have. I will be sending out an email for our February session. So we will do February probably about mid-January. So just watch for an email for that, and it will work exactly like this one does. You definitely don't have to wait for the class. The only thing that I caution you against is, for the most part, we're always using 2 of the papers to slip cover. And you can pretty much tell what I've done by looking at the pictures on the website. Sometimes if there are cut apart cards, I may cut them up a little bit differently, which if you do it differently is not a big deal. But I don't want you to like work ahead and then go, oh my gosh, it doesn't look like Laels and I want it to look like Laels. Sometimes I switch things up just a little bit, but that's okay. So definitely use what you've done. Use your traveler's notebook. As a quick reminder, if you're brand new to traveler's notebook and you don't quite know what to do with them, go watch that very first video. I will link to it in the description of the video here once we're done. Go watch it because it gives you, oh my gosh, so many different ideas besides a calendar, right, that you can use a traveler's notebook for. The other thing is, if you haven't been joining us for our Saturday sessions, I highly encourage you to do so. So much fun. We just we make lists. We use our stickers and washi and things like that to make lists. And sometimes every once in a while it's a to-do list. Other times they're really fun lists, and mostly they're fun lists, like your favorite things about your hometown, or your favorite chick flicks. Or, I mean, we've done so many. So it's just kind of a good place to be social. And when I say social, I'm chit-chatting and working. And then a lot of times, a lot of the people are, chatting in the chat. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your week. We have New Year's Eve coming up. Be safe on New Year's Eve, whatever you're doing. In our neighborhood, some of us are having an outdoor get together. So it starts at 10. I'm like, oh my gosh, it starts at 10. It's late. My age, that's late. But it's outside, and so they're going to have heaters and things like that. But whatever it is that you're doing, if you're doing, stay safe. Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. If you were on my Saturday session, I mentioned we had just found out right before I started that my mother-in-law's husband, COVID. We just found out yesterday my mother-in-law also COVID. So please wear your mask. And I will see you hopefully on Saturday. If I don't see you Saturday, then I will see you mid-January-ish to set up February. All right, you guys, I'm going to duck under really quick and just check the comments because I can't see them from this far away. So I'm going to duck under and see to make sure there weren't any other questions. Oh, good, Cindy. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And Kim and Lynn and Denise and Cheyenne and Cynthia and Joanne and, okay, guys. Kathy, this was your first class and you loved it. Oh, I'm so glad. Yay, I love that. All right. All right, friends. I think we are good. Yep. Okay. Take care. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Oh, I'm trying to remember. One of the lists that we did, I think one of the lists that we talked about doing, I can't remember if we did it or not, was favorite movie quotes. And I always think, oh, I'm going to end with this one because it's my favorite. So I remembered. One of my very favorite movie quotes, and one of my husband's favorite quotes that he would say to me and our kids for years as we were leaving, or he was leaving, he would say, have fun storming the castle. So I say, have fun storming the castle. That's from one of my favorite movies, Princess Bride. Have a great week, you guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye.